5 days before Christmas, I decide I'm going to paint my craft room. Head down to the city, get all my supplies, and think, yeah, this is a simple job. Follow along and find out how simple or not it really is. See what pitfalls I find on my walls, what things aren't quite right, and what extras I have to do to get these walls painted. Hi, my name is Elizabeth. Welcome to my channel. After completing the shelf on the old TV space, I just took one look at the area and thought, I need to paint. My plan all along was to do the different design elements within the room and then paint the walls. And I realized that I was never going to like what I did because I absolutely cannot stand a gray. And so everything was going to look to me really, really horrible against the gray paint. So I went out the other day and I bought everything I needed to paint. We had a snowstorm coming and I thought, perfect. What better time to hunker down and paint when I couldn't go anywhere, couldn't really do anything, couldn't get outside. I think we got about, I don't know, maybe 6 or 8 inches of snow. It was a pretty blustery day yesterday. Anyway, let's take a look at what it was that I had to do. And we're starting with, what did I start with? I started with washing the walls. I used TSB and I scrubbed down the walls. I almost didn't do it, and by the time I finished my first bucket, I was really glad I did. I'd forgotten that there had been a wood stove in here. So the walls actually really did need to be washed before they were painted. So let's get into that and see what else I get up to. Now that it's empty in here, it's really, really echoey. Even walking through, I can hear the difference. It sounds really funny. I found emptying this room a little sad. I moved to New Brunswick about 2.5 years ago, so everything was packed up well before that. And I didn't really unpack much when I first got here. And once I moved into the house, I spent last winter, I spent the fall working on some of the outside projects. And then I spent the winter, I painted the living room, dining room area. And I didn't really unpack any of my crafts. On moving them all out of here, I started to find things that I've been working on. I was making things for my granddaughters, and some of them, I never found them when I got here. They were bits and pieces were here, there, and everywhere. And as I was moving everything out of here, I found most of what I've been working on. And I love crafting and I really miss it. So it's making me really happy to finally get this done. And I'm looking forward to having the setup that I like and being able to find all my projects and get things done. So to paint the craft room, took a trip down to the city, made sure that I had everything I needed. I knew we were in for snow, we had the Christmas break coming and New Year's, so I thought I'll just make sure I've got everything I need. So I started out with two cans of paint. These were $44.90 each. I got a paint tray, which was $8.99, and the liners, there are 5 of them, $9.99. At Home Depot, I got the rollers and the handle. I got molding. This I want to put above the paneling. This was expensive. I got 10 of them and they were $5.98 each. That was my big splurge. I really wanted something that looked good on, made the walls look better than what they already are. So then I also got the finishing nails to go with it and the nail set to make sure the nail heads go in so that when I paint it, they don't show. And to get it onto the wall, I got some no more nails, so I don't have to worry about it slipping and sliding while I'm doing that. So the nail set, $14.98. These were $15.97 each. This was $13.82. The nails were $5.97. More than I needed, but I actually couldn't find anything smaller. And then from the dollar store, I just went cheap and cheerful on the brushes. So all together, the painting of this room, just to paint the walls without the nail set and the trim, is under $190. Throw in this part of it and it goes up to about $245. The room is empty. I gave the walls a really good wash. So there's a number of things now that I need to do to prep the walls before I paint. There is paneling on in the room on the lower, roughly half of the walls. And along the top of that paneling is a plastic trim strip, and I really don't like it. So I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to replace it with a molding. So what I have is this. Let's get a good shot of it. It's about three quarters of an inch, and it's quite narrow. It's just the right width to go on top of the paneling. So I'm probably going to paint that the wall color. Well, I don't know. We'll see. If I don't like the wall color, I'll do it I'm calling it the trim color, the almost white that I did on the inside of the built-in cabinet where I put the shelf. So I don't know. I'm undecided, but right now I'm thinking I'm going to use the same color as the wall. The other area that needs to be taken care of is the south wall, the one with the large window and the air conditioner. It's like the rest of the room, it has paneling along the bottom, but for some reason there's also paneling around the top as well. When I was washing it, there was bits of sponge flying here, there, and everywhere. There were nails sticking up, and those nails will have to be sunk back in. The other area is above the window. The paneling does not come all the way down to the trim, and it was patched with plaster, and it hadn't been sanded or smoothed out or anything like that. I'm going to remove it and replace that with caulking. The third thing on that wall that needs addressing is the trim around the air conditioner. The piece along the top is raised further off the wall than the rest of it, and there's a significant gap between it and the wall. My plastering skills are not good enough to fill that gap, and it's too big for caulking. I'm going to have to put some trim in there, but it can wait because there is no significant draft coming from there. The other things that need to be done with the walls before I can paint are caulking, taping, and filling in all of the holes and smoothing them down. So let's see how I get along. One thing you'll notice as we go along is that in some cases I will be talking about doing the caulking and the taping, and the plastering has already been done in that area. And the reason for that is that I tend to put more emphasis on going up and down the ladder than I do with getting one job done before I move on to the next. So for example, if I need to do the caulking at the top of the door, I'm going to go up the ladder with a caulking gun and the tape, and I'm going to do the caulking around the door, and then I'm going to do the taping along the ceiling. I just prefer not to go up and down, up and down the ladder, up and down the ladder. If I can do two things while I'm up the ladder, that's what I'll do. So it might be a little patchy and disjointed, but I got it all done in the end. There's a fair amount of caulking to be done on the wall, around all of the doors, all of the windows. There's some trim on the ceiling along the exterior wall with the air conditioner and the window. That has to have some caulking done around the air conditioner and where the built-ins are up against the wall. So it's a fair amount to do, but it shouldn't take very long. And of course, caulking dries fairly quickly and it can be painted. So once that's done, things can move along a little faster. So for caulking, I've got just a multi-purpose silicone caulking. I've done a fair amount of caulking in the house since I moved in, and I actually really enjoy it for some reason. Eventually, I will also do some caulking along the baseboard at the floor, along the paneling. But what I've got here is white, and I'm going to need clear for that because because it's going to go up against the paneling. I don't want it to be white. I'm not necessarily going to paint that part of it. So that'll have to wait until I can actually get the caulking. But for now, I'm just going to concentrate on the sections of the wall that I'm painting, and I'll worry about the bottom of it later. As I was prepping the walls and moving around and sort of trying to get everything ready, I realized that the idea of doing the whole room all at once was kind of silly. So what I decided to do was do the one wall in the corner where the big window and the air conditioning unit is, and the window, the wall, it's the one beside this the built where I put the shelf, then the built in the TV space. I'm going to do that little piece of wall as well, and then I can put all of the furniture back because you should see my house. I mean, there is stuff everywhere. I have cupboards that I bought for the office, and I could put some of this stuff in there, but for the most part, what was in here is just piled everywhere. There's no way that I can clear out the entryway where everything that my coats and whatnot. So basically what I've decided is put the furniture back, put some of the stuff back, and then tackle the other walls. Taping also needs to happen, and that's going to happen on all of the trim around the windows and the doors. I'm going to also do it along the paneling, also along the ceiling so that I don't get paint on the ceiling. Also where the built-ins are up against the wall, I will tape that as well. That is actually going to take me a while. That's kind of a big job to do. I filled in all the holes. The ones on the paneling were kind of weird. They were all raised. I had to really actually scrape them down. Even sanding didn't help. But there wasn't a lot in the drywall. The biggest issue is the biggest issue that I came across is cracks in the wall. I've actually seen 3 so far, but the one that I'm dealing with right now, it goes up from the top of the window into the kitchen to the ceiling, and a patch job had been done, but it wasn't really sanded as smooth as I would like. So I'm going to fill in that crack, and then I'm going to give it a really good sand and smooth everything out. Well, that's the plaster all sanded. That was lots of fun. That is not a job I would like to have. What a mess. There was just plaster dust everywhere. I put plastic over the section that I did last week because I just did not want it full of dust. I just realized that my glasses were also covered in plaster dust, so I just went and cleaned them. Wow, the world is a lot brighter right now. Anyway, the wall is smoother. It's still lumpy. I don't know what's going on back behind there, but at least it's not showing the crack and all ridged and rippled, so it's good and smooth. Also in this corner, I removed the thermostat cover and the switch plate. So that's the final piece in this corner. And I've also finished taping the ceiling and all of the trim in the sections that I'm going to paint. So at this point we are ready to apply the paint. So I'm going to leave this video here for the painting for next week. It basically took me 3 days to prep the room, although it could have been 2. The third day was really the sanding of that big plaster, the big plaster piece up here. That was going to take overnight to dry. I had all of the taping done by last night. I had the covers off last night. Or no, I did that this morning, but getting done it last night. But the plaster had to dry overnight. So basically it took me 2 days to prep the room, and that includes emptying it. So that I think is pretty good. I'm rather pleased with how long it took. It was quite the workout. Boy, was I tired last night, but I'm getting more and more excited to get this done. So we'll see you next time. If you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, and I would love it if you would join our community. If you subscribe, don't forget to ring the bell and you'll get notifications of the videos that I release. There's quite a number going to be in this series, and I'm really looking forward to getting this room done. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.